What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. One I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. I don't know. It's just the general reviews I hear on it, but it has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what I said, from what Caleb told me, he said don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping notes that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. The Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to the beginning of the podcast. I'd like to start off this week with another measure. I feel like last week's podcast went really well when we started off with a really positive message. You guys feel like that went well?
Yeah, I was motivated all week by that message. So
I'm just going to I want to share another positive message before the start of the podcast. This is from Edward at Mainstream Landscape. I think that it set everyone's Friday off amazing. Everyone I talked to said that they really enjoyed. So I think that this is something. This could be a regular feature, maybe. I don't know. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
The fabric of life is how you feel about yourself. This inner standing is key. I think it could maybe be understanding, but this inner standing is key. Like I would stress, it says inner, not under. So I don't want people to think I fucked up the message here. This inner standing is key. So I say again, the very fabric of your life is woven with threads of energy. Ignite everlasting. You are a masterpiece of the universe, amazing and truly one of a kind. I am love. I am loved. Be kind, be nice. And that's the beginning of the fucking podcast right there.
Is this from a landscaper or from a poet?
A landscaper poet?
Yeah.
Chad, you're the poet landscaper.
I thought I was. Apparently not. I've been dethroned.
It's a good message of positivity getting thrown out there weekly.
Are we going to get another poem this year, Chad?
I don't know. We might get another poem.
Did you have your Christmas party, Chad?
No, we didn't have a Christmas party.
We had our Christmas party today.
I thought you had it before. Oh, I thought you had it a couple of weeks ago, though.
No.
No, it was...
No, we had it today. We went to a restaurant. We all had lunch. We sat down together. It was good. Everyone enjoyed each other's company. It was a good time. It was a nice party. It was the perfect length, 4 hours. Everyone had it. Everyone had a. Well, I guess we left at 4, so it was like 3 hours. Everyone had a drink, enjoyed themselves, had something good to eat.
Where'd you go?
We went to a place called the Portly Piper in Oshawa. There was 16 of us there. So it was good. I enjoyed it a lot. It was nice they got Kelly and I a nice basket of stuff. Some hot sauce, some pickles, cigars. Yeah, it was right down my alley.
Nice.
Did the workers get you things often? Or is it usually you giving them something at Christmas?
They almost always have something for us.
Really?
That they've given us, yeah.
Not
which
once
is
in
nice.
my life has a worker ever given me something other than a fucking attitude.
I don't know. They always do something for us.
You're a better boss than I am.
Maybe. I don't know. We always do something for them. Absolutely. I also try to do things for them through the season. Like when we went away for a week and we weren't around, and they all did a fucking amazing job the week that we were off. When I came back, I made sure they all got something, because it's valuable to me that we can trust them when we're away to keep moving the company forward and doing the things that they think is best. I think that's, as a business owner, that's probably the most valuable thing you can have, or one of the most valuable things you can have, other than self-affirming yourself every morning. I mean, obviously that's the most valuable, but like, second most valuable would be having a staff that you trust. But when you go away for a week to another country where your phone happens to work better, so it's easier for them to get a hold of you. So I do things for them all year, I guess, little things here and there. There's not like a blanket thing for every person, because I think that, every person that works on our team has different needs and different things that are valuable to them and different things that are important to them. So we try to pick the things that are important to each of them to help them with that, as opposed to having like a blanket, everyone gets this, or this is what we're doing. It's, I think it took a bit of time for them all to understand that, like, one person might have this, but you need to have some self-reflection and say, what do I have that they don't, have that, because it's easy in that situation for people to say, well, this person gets to do this and I don't get to do that. I'm like, yeah, okay, but like, you get to do these 3 things that they don't do, because this is what suits your life better. These are things that are important to you. Sorry?
My guys would weigh that against each other, and then they'd use it to fight with each other. And well, that doesn't matter, but this matters. And so what if I left 15 minutes early? He's only coming in an hour late, or he's off on Fridays. Like they would use it as leverage against each other, and it would just.
I think there's definitely a danger of that, and I think it's not a perfect system, but some people, they all have something different that's important to them. So
in my partner's company, he pays all of his workers the same amount, regardless of who can do what, just so that they can't leverage anything over each other. What do you think of that?
So we have floor rates for each job.
That seems complicated. Floor rate?
Not really. There's a rate for a foreman.
Okay.
There's a rate for a laborer. Or field. I call them field staff. I like that term better. There's a rate for a foreman, a rate for field staff, a rate for a bin truck driver, and a rate for a triaxle driver. And basically, whatever job you're performing, wherever category you slip into, then that's sort of where you are.
I mean, they're all important positions, right?
There. Every job's important. Doesn't matter what it is. If someone's missing from their job, it affects the whole crew.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is the difference between the pay scale is the difference in your preparedness for coming to work. If you're a laborer, or if you're a field staff / laborer, my expectation is your preparedness of coming to work every day, and past your lunch, your boots, your PPE, whatever. I'm talking like your preparedness for the job. You should be prepared to get in the truck in the morning and go to the job site and be told what to do. That's your level of preparedness in the morning. If you are a foreman, my expectation is that you have a plan for when you get to the job site to distribute the labor and begin production. So you should be preparing the night before you leave the job site. You should be preparing, reading the app, reading your things, laying out your morning for the next day, so that when you get there, you're effective and you're producing. So the reason a foreman gets paid more isn't necessarily they're better at running the excavator. It's more about what they're better at being prepared for the next day. Because that's like, most of them have a very similar skill set, much like you're talking about your partner's company. They all have a similar skill set, except there's a couple of them that are much better at being prepared. And those are the people who gravitate towards the foreman position because they're preparing themselves for the day's work. So they get paid more because they're more prepared for the day and they're willing to put more effort into being prepared. Whereas we have guys that show up every day. They do a fantastic job. They work super fucking hard. They pack up all the tools at the end of the day. And then the next day they come in and they wait for someone to tell them what to do. And then they go and do it. And I think that's an underrated person in every company. Like you need those people. Those people absolutely have to fucking exist in your landscaping company or whatever construction company. And then like the drivers, like the bin truck drivers, oftentimes they have to plan out their day, right? Like they have to take a look at what they're doing the next day. Should I do this bin first? Should I dump this here? Where should I, like, there's a lot more preparedness and planning in being a bin truck driver than being a field staff. Like you literally have to plan out the logistics of driving a bin truck is the how you make money with a bin truck. Yeah. Cutting down on trips back and forth, making judgment calls. And then the triaxle drivers, if they're doing, like, if Andrew's taking the float out, the box is 21 feet. The front of the truck's 15. So he's got 36 feet of truck and 45 feet of float. Like he needs to, before he goes anywhere, he needs to Google it and figure out what the fuck's going to happen with that truck and trailer when he pulls in somewhere. Like last week, we did a double float move. We floated equipment in the morning and we floated it out at night for one of our clients. And it's a dead end street. There's nowhere to turn the fucking truck around. Oh. And if you want to back up the street, it's 3/4 of a fucking kilometer backing up on a curve on a very busy road with 2 parking lots exiting onto it. But then when you get to the 4-way lights, it's like fucking Morningside Road you're backing across with that truck and trailer to get going the right way. So for that job, I actually drove there and drove it to figure out, and he had to go into the City of Toronto yard and pretend that he went to the wrong fucking address on Google so he could spin the truck around and then back down to the job site and drop the equipment. Because now he's going the right way and going out in the morning. It's easier to it's easier to back down the road because they were on site and they helped him back down. Like there was spotters because it's a swimming pool. It's a gymnasium. There's kids fucking running everywhere. You're trying to back this truck with 8-ton excavator and SVL 97 on it, back it down to the fucking. So they guided him back, but that job, driving that truck takes a lot of. If you're doing float moves, it takes a lot of preparedness. You can't just get in and then go. Yeah. Well, you could, but I think you're just going to fuck yourself 8 ways to Sunday.
Yeah.
So I like everyone at our company basically gets paid on what their level of what effort they want to put into their preparedness for their day.
Do they not still talk shit about each other though? Or is wages not a friction point for them at all? Because they all sort of make, they all know, like, if you want to make more money, then get more prepared for work. Participate more in what you're doing. Like this goes back like 25 years from me, since I really got in a position where people were coming to me and asking me for raises, which is, I don't know, probably like 25 years or more. People have, because even when I was working for someone else, people would come to me as a foreman and say, can you go in and vouch for me that I'm doing a good job? Because how would the owner, who's never sees these people, have any fucking clue what they're doing all day? And I would tell everyone from the beginning that's ever worked with me, if you want more money, do not fucking come and tell me you want more money because you've been here. Being here is fucking useless. Just being somewhere, who fucking cares? I've been here 10 years. Great. I can hire someone that's never been here before that's more productive than you and more prepared. Like, just existing, but never upgrading your skills and never becoming more prepared for work is great. You'll get an inflationary raise because everyone deserves inflationary raises to keep up with the time. But if you never expand your skill set past unpotting plants and putting them in the ground, and that's what you do, and that's all you do,
Well, like this, it's only ever going to pay what it pays. If you come to me at halfway through a year and say, I learned how to run the skid steer effectively, I learned how to do layout, I learned how to run the GPS stick. Here's all the new tools I put in the toolbox for myself every day. I deserve more money. I can look at that and say, okay, yeah, those are valuable things to this company. They're taking pressure off the foreman who was doing them. Absolutely. Maybe you get some more money. Or maybe you go up to the next, I think that's how I've always handled it, because just existing somewhere for 10 years, but never really getting any better, who fucking cares?
Yeah. I like the fact
What, you're just more familiar with me? Great.
I like the fact that you give them their rates based on preparedness. There's been, and this drives my fucking arse through the ground. They'll come at me in the morning. Oh, we have no sand left. Like we have skids of sand, right? So that we don't have to go to a retailer to get sand, or pallets of concrete or something, or pallets of edging or whatever it is. And they'll come in the morning. Oh, we want a sand, but the retailer doesn't open until 8 or 8:30, and we have no sand. Well, how the fuck am I supposed to know that there's no sand on the pallets? You guys do the jobs. I can't micromanage all the material. We don't have any spikes left. Well, fuck. Good. We go through 2 boxes of spikes a year, and it's to spike down the fabric. It's not even to put in edging, I need to know whenever we don't have something. And if you can't tell me when we don't have something, you're just as good as useless to me.
So we had that
You have no
problem.
foresight.
We had that problem this year, but a lot of it was, we have 2 tool trailers. Each foreman has their own tool trailer. Bill has a tool trailer. Ricky has a tool trailer. And there's some shared items like at our yard where we share wheelbarrows. Like there's no wheelbarrows assigned, because a lot of jobs we do that you don't ever have a fucking wheelbarrow on them. So the wheelbarrows are all in the barn, right? Well, what was happening was Bill was taking 4 wheelbarrows to his job, and then Ricky would come to the yard and go to get wheelbarrows, and there's no fucking wheelbarrows. So I started on our Team Connect app. Or Connect, whatever the fuck it's called, Connect Team, whatever that app is. We started a specific supervisor chat. And when they're removing common items from the shop, they have to put it into the supervisor chat so that myself, Ricky, Bill, and Jack know that that item was removed from the shop. So we have like 3 different wall clamps. We have a jumbo Moore clamp, a standard Moore clamp, and some kind of German clamp. So if you take one of the clamps out of the fucking shop, then you put it in the supervisor chat. I have the jumbo Moore clamp.
Yeah.
And then that way, if Ricky's making plans at the end of the day, he's like, fuck, Bill has that clamp on site. I wonder if he's still using it. Ricky can call Bill and say, hey man, are you still using the Moore clamp? Yeah, I'm still using it. Okay, or I'm not using it. Can you bring it back to the shop tonight? Because I need it tomorrow morning. So there's like this ongoing chat between the supervisors on common items, and the same as if we run out of, we have a board in our shop, because common things that we run out of are Cody. So Cody manages our CCAN. That's one of her jobs at the company, is she manages the stock levels of the CCAN. So she put up a big whiteboard and it lists all the items that are commonly used out of the CCAN. Grease, truck inspection books are something that we go through a fuck ton of. And invoice books we go through a lot of, because the triaxles and the bin trucks are constantly writing invoice tickets. So when you take one of those, so in our lockers, there's a locker full of invoice books and whatever, and the truck inspection books, and then there's all the grease and stuff and the oil. And when you remove one of those items, the commonly used items on her board, you can say there's 6 inspection books left. You scrabble it off and you put 5 inspection books. And then she checks it periodically to say, okay, what do I need to restock? And then oftentimes she go, for Cody, her day kind of goes, she'll go put out 3 or 4 bins in the morning. And then she has this lull time while everyone's filling the bins. And then she'll go out and so if she knows that she has an hour or 2 to kill, she'll swing by Princess Auto and pick up whatever we need. Or she'll let Kelly know to order more invoice books, or me know to bring them. Or And that's how we manage stock in the shop. We have a thing.
I love that. I need a Cody.
But you have a Cody, you just haven't assigned anyone the task.
Yeah. Because they shouldn't be back at the yard with lull time in between.
Well, but no matter who, if you remove, if you were to put up a whiteboard in the where the sand is, and every time you remove like say there's 80 bags on a skid, so you write 80. Someone takes 5 bags, write 75.
Yeah. They would forget and not do it.
But then that's then that falls back to you tolerating that behavior.
Yeah.
And we don't have a perfect system here, man. People forget shit too. Like I take inspection books and I don't write it down. But we try to have a system in place, I guess,
you can just print those papers. You don't have to buy inspection books, right? You can just print inspection papers.
I like the books because if you get pulled over by MTO, you have to produce. There has to be the previous book and the current book in the truck, right? So if you're printing your own papers, what do you do? Keep them I don't know what the limit is.
Yeah, I just have binders and they take maybe a stack of 20 and it has 6 spots to fill out the inspection on them. And then when that one's done, they just flip it to the back. And whenever it's done.
So how do they turn them in every day so that you can read them?
They don't. They sit in the truck for.
Yeah, so that technically is illegal.
Yeah, I don't know. They've never given me grief for it. So
no, I know, but I'm just talking like worst case scenario here. Yeah. But someday, MTO is going to knock on your door and do an audit.
We have all the papers.
I know, but they're going to say what is the system of? So every week, in the pouches, are those books that have 2 copies, right?
Yeah.
1 copy stays in the truck. 1 copy gets ripped out, goes in the pouch every day. At the end of the week, all the pouches come to me. I go through all 5 to make sure that no one's writing anything down that's broken on their trucks. Now, technically, I should be doing that daily by the rule of MTO. But if you have no check and balance to your trucks being inspected, then they potentially could bring that up. That's, worst case scenario. Obviously, it's worked great for however many years you've been running NDL, but I am the worst case scenario worrier.
Yeah.
I don't leave anything to chance with the government because the second I do, I get fucking screwed. So I don't take risks. I follow, and you have to have a check and balance because the first thing an MTO officer could ask you is, how are you reporting this defective thing, this burnt out headlight to the office? If all you have is these sheets of paper that you have for the last 20 days, are you writing it twice and turning 1 in every day? Are you how are you reporting it to the office? I guess probably I've been asked that question, and that's why I get so lit about it.
Yeah.
Because someone has physically written us a ticket at some point for that because we didn't have tearaway. I don't know I know the books are legal. I know that that's legal to do, so that's what I do. I also know that if they ever knock on your door to do an MTO audit, the first thing they're ask you for is those copies.
Yeah. Gladly, I'll give you the dusty, dirty old fucking binders and said, go nuts. Let me know when you're done.
There should be 2
my records.
Well, I'm just saying there should be 2 copies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
I don't know. I just the books aren't even expensive. It's probably more expensive to print out paper.
Nah. The books are only good for what, 30 days? Or how?
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know how many fucking pages are in them. Maybe 30 days. Let's see. I have them all here in the office because I just went through them.
I'd have to buy them by the case. There's 7 trucks that go out a day.
We ordered them from Amazon.
Oh, maybe that's what I should do then.
And they just show up. I photocopy so much fucking, the amount of paper that we produce in a week is when we're all working is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild. I don't know how many, maybe it says somewhere how many pages are in this. I don't know. Maybe there is. No, there's quite a few. It's pretty thick. I think there's more than 30 in here. I don't know. We just budget for it. Well, I don't know if we budget. This is I've been to seminars where people are telling me to budget my paper clips. And if I ever have to budget paper clips, I'm doing something else for a fucking living.
Holy.
I don't like. I know lots of people who do print them out the same way you do. I don't know. I just like everything to be. I fucking hate the government and I fucking hate MTO. It's the same with like everyone on the planet tells me I'm a fucking idiot for doing all the soil moving stuff. Like the legal requirement for soil moving, right? Like filling out those legal papers. Everyone says you're a fucking idiot until one of our trucks got pulled over and that was the first fucking thing they asked for.
Wow.
It was one of the brokers. And the brokers are the ones who give me the hardest fucking time about it. And I'm like, dude, you got to fill this paperwork out. You want to work for me? You want to get paid? You fill the fucking sheet. I'm not even doing it for me. I'm doing it to protect you. Plus, a lot of my clients, there's a couple of my clients that won't pay me now without the haulage record.
Do you think? So I have some questionable dirt. If I mix it with black muck, do you think I can turn it into topsoil?
I don't know.
Like just screen it together? Like I don't know the composition. I'm not a chemist or bio
So you're
whatever.
talking about like selling contaminated soil?
No, it's not contaminated. It's just questionable in the sense that it's not super organic, right?
Isn't that the whole? That's the whole point of manufacturing soil, though, is to mix soils together to make a better mix.
Correct. So do you think just by adding black muck to
What's black muck?
oh, down here, black muck's a big thing. It's like the really black topsoil that never compacts, and as soon as it gets wet, it turns to fucking muck. But it's
Oh, I would fucking mix those two together. You probably come up with a nice soil.
yeah, that's I'm thinking I got some questionable stuff, cut it with some black muck, turn it into good soil.
Questionable stuff in my world is like table 2.1.
No. This is all straight clean material. I'm talking like
Yeah. You're telling this is all table one material. Some of it just doesn't have a lot of organics in it.
yeah, I'm talking if you were to just grass seed this, would you get results? Yeah, probably not.
Mm.
You know.
Sounding like a drug dealer.
Wow.
Take some of this, cut it with a little bit of this.
Well, that's what you do. Prop up your fucking landscaping business with your drug business.
Have you guys ever looked at
That's advice that like people laugh at that. That's advice straight from the Outdoor Project podcast. Like that's fucking advice right from their fucking podcast. Have a drug business to prop up your landscaping business so your landscaping business is successful. I'm not making that shit up. There's major players in the landscape software game supporting that advice now.
Yeah, I suppose, eh?
You guys laugh at it every time. Like I fucking make it up.
Because it doesn't get any less crazy.
Doesn't matter how many times you say it or how fast you say it. It's still fucking crazy. Someone was openly talking about that on a fucking podcast. Yeah. Well, you know, self-affirm, baby.
Have you guys ever looked at using that Ontario app to do your inspections? I forget what it's called, but
I talked to someone at Congress last year about using like doing our inspections on an app.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't know. They never called me back. It seemed kind of Mickey Mouse. I was like, fuck this. We'll just keep using these pieces of paper.
Okay, I found it. It's $1.50 every report that you do.
Yeah, fuck that.
Jesus.
Seems expensive, right?
Holy shit.
The books are like I'm gonna get Jack to develop a jot form for this season coming up that for machine inspections. I think one of the things that fell off for us this season, now that the season's over and all the equipment's back at the yard, was machine inspections. I think we got busy. People wanted to get work done. I get it. And we didn't have a real policy in place for machine inspections. So I'm gonna get, because there's that jot form that you can develop basically in almost anything. It's an app you can develop. And I'm gonna get Jack to develop it so that there's a clear list of things, of expectations from me to them of what we're checking every day on the machinery. I think that I fucked that up this year. This year was the year I spent the least time on site ever. And so a lot of the things that I would be there in the morning and say, okay, do this, do this, do this, and then they all go out and do it. I wasn't there to say it. And I think that, that maybe anyways, I'm gonna set up a system where people are more accountable to making sure that the equipment is greased and cleaned and fluids are checked. And I'm not saying we did a horrible job. I just feel deeply like we could have done a better job. And the equipment is so fucking expensive now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like, I say to all of them, like, if we, what's funny is we, so the back door of our E20 got jammed, or I don't know, something happened to it on the job site. And I said to the guys, what happened to the E20? And they said, oh, well, we opened it to check the oil, and the door was jammed and something happened to it, and so it stays like this now. I said, okay. I said, well, when did that happen? And they said, oh, well, it happened yesterday. And I said, okay, well, the machine's been here for 2 fucking weeks. So did you guys hit it off something? No. I said, did you not check the oil for the first 2 fucking weeks the machine was here? I said, okay. I said, do you check the oil in the brown pickup truck every day before you leave? Yeah, every day, religiously. We check the oil in that thing. I said, just so we're all on the same page here, that's the least valuable thing we own. It's a 2015 pickup truck with 450,000 kilometers on it. And we're checking the oil in that bitch every day, making sure that motherfucker runs. It's worth $5,000. It might be worthless. I might not even be able to fucking sell the thing. It could literally be worthless. But we are maintaining the fuck out of that. Now the E20 that costs $50,000 to replace and is, in relatively good shape. Fuck that shit. We won't check the oil on that bitch. It's $50,000. Like, I'm like, what are we doing here? We're like maintaining the fucking shit out of this. Like, it's actually still a good truck. Fucking. It goes out, it works every day, it does its job.
Maybe it's worth more than $5,000 because the cost of replacing it is more than $5,000, right?
Yeah, but also I think that things have a half-life. I feel like
No, I'm just fucking around with you.
I want to keep that truck because it's paid for and it runs and it's been a good, truck for a long time. But I don't want to depend on it next year. I think we need to add a truck so that becomes a spare truck. But I think we're just going to buy a 1500 pickup. So I don't need all these heavy trucks. Like, the guys that work on our field staff, they don't float equipment. They don't the biggest thing they tow is a single axle tool trailer, or maybe like the little dump trailer with a couple yards in it. We don't need big 2500 pickup trucks. They're expensive to maintain. They're fucking gas. If we plowed snow, we would need them, but I don't know. We don't have any use for them. I was thinking about getting a Ford Maverick.
What's that?
It's like it's a mini pickup truck with a 4-cylinder motor. It gets incredible mileage, and they make contractor caps for them. You can throw a contractor cap on it. They still have a tow hitch. They would still tow a single axle tool trailer. You'd still be able to tow that.
I think they're like 40 or 50 grand though.
No, you can get them for 28.
Really?
Yeah, the base model. If you want a Maverick Tremor, fucking blah 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 blah, yeah, they're 50 grand. I granted that. But if you want the base model Maverick as a work truck, I think they're like between 28 and 32, and they're fucking great on fuel.
Didn't Toyota make these little like $10,000 trucks that really haul ass, or like little mules or something like that, but you can't get them in North America?
Yeah.
I
know the ones you're talking about.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like 1 or 2 of those.
This year I'm going to do I feel like we had a good year, but I'm going to do figure out if there's some overhead shit we can dump and, or at least change the current system so that we don't need to. I think the 2 crews work well. We need to add a couple people in the spring. Dump trucks are going well. bin trucks struggled this year, but I think they'll have a better year next year. But I'd like to see if we can drive more profitability out of the crews by tweaking some stuff like not driving heavy 2,500 diesel pickup trucks all over Ontario for no fucking reason. Like, there's no reason to have, like, we have a small fuel tank in our yard too. So, like, if you had a Maverick, you could put a little slip tank in it. Because that's the only thing the guys really take around in the trucks. And you can get a contractor cap for a Maverick now. See, like, the difference between my business model and your business model, Chad, is you guys are never really usually going very far.
We work as far as Kingston, right?
But how often?
Ooh, 2 years ago, we were up in White Lake, which is 2 hours away every day for probably 4 months.
So then a Maverick would have saved you a fucking shit ton of money.
The client paid for fuel. And we were always taking shit back and forth in the little dump truck and stuff. So, and it would take five of us up at a time.
Yeah.
That's back when I was still on the tools and stuff. Like, it was just, you almost had to. But as long as the client was paying for fuel and maintenance and stuff, then we were billing for that. But
Was that the Roca step one?
Yeah.
The stepping stones?
which I'm not sure if I told you guys, he sold that whole property here.
Perfect.
Like it was probably, I don't know, 300K we did in landscaping.
Wow.
And then he sold the whole place. Sick of the township, dealing with the township there.
So now you'll be working at his new property.
I'd love to. Phenomenal client. Can't say a bad thing about him. Although one time he took a jab at me because I showed up to the meeting with Chinese tires.
You
Did I
mentioned
tell you guys that?
Yeah.
He sells
Yeah.
tires for a living.
Yeah.
So can't blame me for trying to save a buck, but I guess you can. It's my fault. I did go out and buy tires from his shop the next week and made sure he heard about it.
Mm.
Because I felt bad about the whole thing. Whatever. He also didn't take into consideration the tens of thousands of dollars we spend on making sure our shit is up to par at his mechanic. So
Oh, is he on the mechanic shop?
Yeah.
Nice.
And all the times we do e-tests, they have to go through there. But
We have a mobile e-test guy.
we do too, but there has to be a bunch of shit in one place for it to make sense. I was at the mechanic yesterday and they're doing the whole new safety thing with the computer and all that stuff. And there was a brand new F550 in there and they were taking the wheels off it because you have to check the pads and all that shit. He's like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. He's like, this truck has like 200 kilometers on it and I'm taking the wheels off so that I can check the brake pads on it so that it passes safety. Then you have to take it all back in to retorque them after a couple hundred clicks anyway. So
yeah, you got to go back in for sure. The new certification thing is fucking stupid.
They were saying the safety is like an 8-hour minimum now.
Yep, it's $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000, and that's if they find nothing.
If they find nothing, yeah. It's like just to certify trailers this year, we're going to be 10 grand.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy. It's it adding a whole bunch of costs.
Yeah.
It's adding a shit ton of cost to. Now that you mentioned e-tests, I'm literally, because Cody was supposed to schedule the e-tests and I don't know if she did it yet. I literally just sent it into the chat. Cody, have you scheduled the fucking e-test before January 1st? Because it's like the end of the month is coming. Like, we need to schedule the fucking e-test.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna unload some trucks, swap some things around, make some room for this new truck, and hopefully work a little less in the truck side of things this year, more on site. The whole point of next year will be to keep guys on site working and not out driving trucks around for anything.
How do those guys feel about that?
Whenever they came to NDL, were they looking for a trucking job or were they looking for a landscape job?
Maybe they were looking for a combo job, which is what they found.
Well, it's about to change. And I always tell the guys, if you're not happy here or if you feel like you're not being treated well, you can absolutely leave. I'd prefer if you left because I'd rather that than you have a chip on your shoulder the whole time.
One bad apple spoils the bunch.
Yeah. Yeah. We're fermenting over here. That's for sure.
Our residential crews are like if we're doing a residential job, which obviously isn't that often, but with having all the trucks, they and dedicated drivers, they don't ever hardly ever pick up stuff
Yeah.
because it's not productive.
If I have to hear the phrase, well, we have to go get or we have to go pick up into 2025, I'll feel like I failed.
Are you going to hire a dedicated driver for that new hook truck?
Um, Potentially. I can hop in it.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't hire a dedicated, this is just my opinion on this. Take it for what it is. If you do not hire a dedicated driver for that truck, you are going to hear that phrase a whole bunch of fucking times while your $300,000 truck is sitting in the yard.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm just saying. And if you hire I know that the worry is if you hire a dedicated driver, you're not going to keep them busy. But once you have the dedicated driver, I bet that you're like, how the fuck did I ever live without a dedicated driver?
Yeah.
Because you will find stuff every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So my father-in-law used to have he used to drive big trucks, right? Like, I don't know he used to drive dump trucks, I think. He had a D, right? It's before they had the Z endorsement.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that grandfathers him in with the insurance side of things at least. The fact that he has over 3 years experience, he just hasn't had his D updated in a while.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see if that sticks. I'll send him to get his ARZ or whatever it is. And then he'd be great in that thing, you know?
Once you have a dedicated driver, you'll wake up every morning with a whole list of shit for them to do.
Yeah, I bet.
You will. I think how many crews are you running?
3.
Yeah, it's crazy that you don't have a dedicated driver.
Yeah.
Running 3 crews, you'll keep a dedicated driver 100% busy all the time.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to deliver most of your materials yourself.
Yeah, well, like our bulk aggregates and stuff, like from the quarry and stuff. And I think the hook truck will be good to load in and out. Like drop you off with a load of gravel in the morning, empty the bin. The guys can do the excavation, throw it in the bin, put the gravel in while the hook is spinning, doing other stuff. Yeah, I think it'll really be good. I don't know if it's going to be enough to offset the $350,000 investment in the thing, but I wanted it anyway, so here we go.
I think you'll recoup it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I've wasted a lot of money in my life. So
At least you're wasting your money on something that's cool.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think you're going to waste money at all. I think if you don't hire a dedicated driver, you're going to waste the money.
Yeah.
Because all it's going to happen is you're going to get busy. You're going to have shit to do. Truck's going to be there. The guys are going to have their little dump trucks anyways, and they're going to be like, "Fuck it, we'll just make a couple runs ourselves."
Yeah, that's bad news.
Because it's easier to fall into the habit. I think that the only way you don't get your money back out of that truck is if you don't hire a dedicated driver to drive it.
I have a buddy who he drives city bus for the city of Cornwall, and he hates it. He's done it for like 7 or 8 years, or maybe 10 years. I don't know, time flies. But he's like, I'll come and drive that truck. I'm like, Matt, you gotta pension, like you work for the city. It's a
Yeah.
cushy job. He's like, I can't deal with the people. I said, come on over. But you're not gonna like it here either, you know? I'm sure.
I think bus. So my dad was a bus driver
Yeah.
for a long time. I think it's a very hard job.
Are you compensated accordingly though?
I don't know what the city of Cornwall compensates their bus drivers.
I'm sure they make $30 an hour, you know,
I don't know. I think that in the city of Toronto,
plus
it's
benefits.
it's questionable whether or not they're like it's a rough job, man.
Yeah.
My dad has wild stories. Like
Yeah.
wild shit happened to my dad on his time on the TT. You know, he mostly drove at night because his preference was to deal with a few crazy people as opposed to hundreds and hundreds of irritated people during rush hours. So he was like a very much drove the bus at night. But the stuff that happens to these people driving these buses, man, it's a fucking hard job.
I bet. I don't
I
doubt
could
it.
see how someone would be burned out of it after 10 years. Like, I mean, if you, and there's a lot of stuff only, because my dad drove for so long. I know a lot about the lifestyle. I never did it, but I know a lot about it. And if you're on the school runs, man, if your buddy is driving in the morning and picking up 500 high school kids and driving them,
I
I
think
could,
they make them do splits, like work for a
yeah, that's
couple
what
of
they
hours
do.
and then
Yeah,
go home. What the fuck type of job is that? If you
hard.
ask me to work for a bit and then go home and then come back later,
They fucking do
not a
splits for
chance.
sure, man. I'm telling you, they do splits for sure. You want to hear I'll get my dad on this podcast and he can ream out many a fucking TTC bus driving story. Like, dude, it's not a good, like, it's a really hard job, man. It is not a walk in the fucking park. It's not like being a postal worker. I'm just joking. They're just on strike. But I just say I could see how your buddy's burnt out and is like, man, I just can't do this. I just can't do this anymore with my life. I could 100% see how it could be burned out. And there may come a time when he's so burned out that he's just like, is he your age?
He's a little older than me, a couple of years older than me.
Okay, this guy's still got 20 more years of doing that.
Yeah, especially because he didn't start off like 20 some. He's not getting a full pension, is what I mean by the time. Uh, when would you normally retire? 55 at the city?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe, who knows? Maybe it's in his future to come work for NDL. He used to drive for the Brickyard, so it's
Did he like that better than fucking driving the bus? Because that's comparable to what he'd be doing for you.
yeah, I think the money was better at the city for driving the bus than it was at the Brickyard. So
Having a good driver, though, that's someone that should get paid well. They're in care and control of a lot of fucking money, man.
yeah, $350,000 truck.
Well, plus the float, plus whatever's on the back of it.
Yeah.
I bet you could get pretty close to rolling $1 million down the road. How much is the 8-ton with the fucking tilt rotator on it? 200 grand?
Yeah.
And then add a SVL, another 100 grand.
Yeah.
So and then the float's worth 25 grand. So whoever is driving that truck for you, man, they're rolling 650 down the road all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I say that all like
Takes a lot of money to look this poor.
I have said it so many times when Darian was doing it, when Christy's done it, when fucking Andrew's doing it. Like, it's a $350,000 truck towing a $60,000 fucking 30-ton float, hauling someone's $400,000 fucking 14-ton excavator. Like, we were rolling like 900K down the road.
Yeah.
Like, you got to trust those people that are fucking doing that, man. And they got to be good people and they got to get fucking paid. Like,
oh, Matt's a professional driver. Like, he can drive everything under the sun other than a plane or a helicopter.
but that's what I'm saying to you about, like, you look at a guy like that that you know that you can trust, and you say, you just like, to me, I'd be like, listen, man, what are you making driving for the city of Cornwall?
I don't know. I could ask him.
But that's what I'm just saying. Like, if you have a guy like that that potentially wants to work for you, that's that kind of like a fucking that kind of driver, that someone you trust, that's responsible, and at an age that will probably mile out about the same time you will. Although you might be at the cottage next year, so who knows if you're miling out?
Yeah, who knows?
That might be. I'm just saying, like, all jobs in landscaping are tough. All jobs are tough,
Yeah.
and I think all driving jobs are hard too. It just, they're all hard in a different way.
Um, yeah. Maybe not Amazon package delivery, but
I'm sure there's some kind of timer on that shit that's probably hard,
maybe.
but I would say it's probably not one of the more difficult. It's sort of
Well,
like
you have
delivering the
really
mail.
skilled drivers doing that job. So,
Um, but like the bin trucks are hard, but in a different way than the triaxles, and the triaxles are hard, but in a different way. Like, it just, they're all of it is not easy and takes skill. In my,
yeah.
I feel lucky to have all the drivers we have, and some of the ones we've had too that have come and gone. I feel lucky that they're all. Some of them I don't feel lucky. Some of them were fucking morons, but they were, what was it, like, without cause,
Yeah.
released without cause, whatever. So there's that.
Did you guys see the picture that I posted today about applying for work? It was from one of my old employers, and he has this sign posted in his office entranceway. His future employees at, and it says the company's name. It says smokers need not apply. All employees are to be clean shaven with no beards and no facial hair. In Then it says a trimmed mustache is acceptable. Earrings or facial rings of any sort are not allowed at any time, and uniforms or work clothes are to be clean and tidy upon arriving to work. You think that would fly these days?
No, I read that. There's no fucking way that would fly.
No.
I don't. I got hired though. Over 10 years ago. Must have been 15 years ago by that company.
So that's been a policy for since that guy started the business?
Yeah. Like
Wow.
it's a weathered sign. It's laminated, but the page has to be probably 30 years old, 20, 25
Wow.
years old, something like that. But like he was able to find workers. Like he
Yeah, but did you really, like, okay, he wrote the sign and was able to find workers, but did you in any way like meet any of those expectations?
None. No. But I also brought a lot to the table off the hop that maybe a green employee wouldn't, you know. Like I was in charge of a $1 million snow site, and all they had to do was ensure that I had a machine there, you know.
Did he get a lot of good employees?
I was in there today picking up a check for the Amazon wall, and yeah, I mean, they're all old guys, right? So they'll complain about anybody new and young and who doesn't want to work and stuff like that. But I mean, they had enough employees or have enough employees to run probably, I don't know, 15 triaxles. They probably have 10 20-ton shovels, 30-ton shovels, a big shop, a quarry, stuff like that. Like they have enough to keep things grinding along. So, but I don't know. I don't think you can even ask that of people now. You're not
Oh,
allowed to
I don't think so.
there or
Maybe in Cornwall.
wow.
HR doesn't seem to have caught up to Cornwall.
Yeah. Like I don't mind that sign's up. I don't care, but I could see how someone might be offended by it.
Were you clean shaven when you worked for
Yeah.
him?
Oh, I probably had a mustache, but it was a trim mustache.
Oh yeah.
It
But
was a trim mustache.
I had
But
tattoos and I had a nose ring and like,
oh wow.
yeah,
When
whatever.
you worked for him, were there good employees coming through, or was it the
Uh,
same as a typical landscape company?
well, he's a construction company, like
Okay.
a heavy construction, like civil or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever, earthworks, stuff like that. Um, I don't know. They're mostly older guys. Or like
Okay.
middle age at the time. I guess I was 20s. So,
Hmm.
but if my company turned out to be like that company in the future, I wouldn't be mad. Like that's a hell of a success story. He used to, the owner of the company, he used to have like an open cab Kubota and he would drive around plowing with that like a real cowboy. Like in a snowstorm, he'd be in an open cab Kubota tractor just plowing shit. I'm like, that is insane.
How
It's
long ago was that?
Oh, he's 75 now, so that would have been 50 years ago.
Fuck.
Like, could you imagine? But that's a hell of a story.
He wanted it.
Yeah, he got it.
Oh,
But now that he has it, like, what do you do with at 75? It's time to cash out, man. I told him, I said I would take all this stuff and sell it and move to an island. You're done. The game's over. Like,
you won.
you won. That's it.
I, but
I know you can't. I know it's the mentality behind it. You can't do that at that age because you've done it your whole life. And if as soon as you stop doing it, you probably die.
but I think that a lot of those businesses slowly grind down to nothing. Is that well? Maybe he's 75, so if it was going to start grinding down to nothing, it should have started around 65.
Yeah.
So but you feel like you watch like you're in the bathtub and you're watching the spiral. You see people get in their early 60s and you can kind of watch the business just, they're not as into it. They're fucking, and it slowly kind of keeps every year it gets a bit smaller and a bit smaller and a bit smaller. And then they wake up one morning and there's not really much left. And they just sort of like, and by then they started hanging out with their grandkids or doing other shit. But at 75, yeah, you're all in, man. You might as well fucking work till you drop dead.
Yeah,
If
like
it hasn't started to spiral into the fucking sewer by 75, you're fucking all in that motherfucker.
those 8 brand new international triaxles had shown me that he's not spiraling down,
Yeah.
still running with it. But
Yeah, there ain't no fucking spiraling with 8 brand new triaxles. Like fucking $4 million worth of fucking trucks.
yeah. Yeah.
No, probably just under $3 million worth of new trucks. No, 8. Every 3 is $1 million basically. So yeah, about $3 million worth of new trucks.
Yeah. And then when I see that, I'm like, they're on their way out. I'm like, I wonder what's in it, what I could get out of this deal. Like, is there a deal to be had here because he's retiring or gonna die soon or something? I'm like,
Who retires with 8 brand new trucks?
well, he's got a partner, but his partner is sick. Um, I don't think either one of them has kids.
Has anyone ever asked them to buy the business?
Um,
Sometimes those who ask are the ones who succeed.
I don't know.
If no one's ever asked him, maybe he's never even considered it.
You know why I wouldn't buy the business? Because his business.
There's $3 million worth of dump trucks there.
Well, no, if they're turnkey, right?
Yeah.
Then they have a quarry, so that's a license to print money right there. Um, but all his equipment is red. And I just think that's a terrible mistake. I don't know. To me, red equipment, like red trucks, red boxes and stuff. No, it doesn't do it for me.
I'm not a big red guy either, obviously.
Some people love it, like a hot red, everything fire engine red. I'm just like, can't do it. I'd rather have a failing company in the color white or black than I would a successful company in red.
Ooh, that's aggressive.
Yeah.
Is there any color? What if you had a mildly successful company in green? Where would that rate?
Mm.
Would you rather have a mildly successful company in green?
I took the old natural design logo and took the green out of it because I didn't like green.
Mm.
If I were to do it again, I think I would go yellow and gray and black.
Yellow and black goes well.
Yeah, yellow and gray and black.
I have yellow and black stuff.
Yeah. Or I like the black and gold and black and silver as well.
Red and black goes well. I like red and black.
Red and black?
Yeah, red, black, and white goes really well.
I can tell you that all black with pink and pink underglow is a big deal. People like that shit.
I don't do anything at night, so underglow doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I guess we'll move snow at night, but it's more in the morning, in the fall.
Yeah, in the fall. Yeah, I suppose.
In the fall, in the mornings, and you pull into the supplier and stuff.
Do you want to know what a Cornwall bus driver makes?
Sure.
Sure.
$29.51 an hour.
Oh, you could pay a driver that.
Yeah, he has benefits too, right? And pension.
Oh, you don't have benefits?
No.
Oh, we
No,
have
because we went
Oh
through
yeah, we went through all this about your fucking people that will never use them and thought it
Yeah,
was stupid and
I'm better off to just give whenever they have a problem, give them money. It saves
Yeah.
me so much more money than putting a fucking package together for them all
that half of them don't want.
that half of them don't want.
Mm.
But now they get mad at each other. Oh, this person doesn't want benefits and I could use benefits. So
That's why you have to make a blanket policy and say this is how we're moving forward.
yeah, I suppose.
You're trying to please everyone but pleasing no one, John.
Story of my life.
That's like a Caleb's corner.
That is.
I don't want to call it Caleb's corner anymore. I want to call it Caleb's mastermind. I'm
People
just
might get
joking.
confused.
I would never fucking do that to Caleb. I think more of him than that. A lot more of him than that fucking mastermind shit. Yeah. See, what did I say? What was the Caleb's corner? I don't fucking remember what I fucking said now.
You try to please everybody and you please nobody or
And
something.
you please nobody. Yeah.
We did get a result on our poll for should NOFH, Not Our Finest Hour, attend a mastermind. And it was an overwhelming support. Does that mean we're sending PK to the Toronto mastermind?
He looks like he's got some free time.
When is the Toronto mastermind?
I think it's the end of January sometime.
Oh yeah, I'm gone. I'm in Costa Rica.
Yeah, you're gone. Mike,
Right.
you're in Toronto.
Yeah, but I'm busy.
What are you talking about?
He has to wash his hair that day.
Do you think they would even let me into the mastermind?
I mean, it's worth a shot.
I'd like to see if they'll even let me register for the mastermind. But there's two ways to look at that. You could say, this is a guy who's anti-mastermind, and this is our chance to convert him into our cult.
Yeah. I mean, they probably were trying to when they reached out to you.
How'd that pan out?
I think you'd have to go with the disguise. Otherwise, they would use your video footage to prop up the mastermind.
Yeah.
Go in disguise,
Yeah.
register as Kelly.
Or ZZ Top or something.
I feel like if I went into I feel like if I go into a room of hardcore landscaping people, I don't know that there's a disguise I could wear. Especially people in Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I could shave, maybe go to a goatee.
Mm,
I could wear red glasses instead of yellow.
yeah.
That would throw people off. Get a really small chain.
Yeah.
Really fuck people over.
It was 43 votes to 12.
43 votes for yes.
That's a lot of engagement for us.
People, maybe I should go. How much is it?
$200
$200.
if you sign up before the end of the year. Plus, there's a discount code hanging around somewhere for.
I want to know what influencers are going to be there.
Chad won't be.
Well, no, I'm talking about the mastermind influencers.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just talking about.
There's clear mastermind influencers.
Regular influencers.
No, I want to know what mastermind influencers are going to be there.
I see.
I want to know if I can. Did you launch the Leaders of Leaders shirts yet?